Hey, Connecticut. Let's go over the most important article that came out over the weekend. Obviously, the attack on Israel is important, but look at this article. It describes how Connecticut and its red flag law is used by U.S. Senator Murphy to attack his opponents, and they don't police the actual problem. So here we go. We have 12 shootings just yesterday in New England, and 3 officers are dead. 12 shootings. So the problem is escalating, and the red flag law does not work because, read the article. Let's read it. Red flag law applied unevenly, analysis shows. Okay, so here we go. Michael Mallow and his girlfriend, Caroline Ashworth. Mallow killed Ashworth and himself in 2022 after being released from a psychiatric institution. Hold on. Look at the records. 11 students from UConn are assisting a journalist in this story. The students, very, very good move. Jalen Allen, Amanda Amaral, Coral Aponte. Look at the names. They should be congratulated. Mallow voluntarily committed himself to Midstate Medical Center in Meriden in August of 2022. They had guns in the home. The department, days before, called 911. Ashland called 911 because the boyfriend threatened to shoot her in the head. Within days of his committal, he was sent for involuntary physician's emergency certificate, And he was supposed to remain there until September 7th. But he was transferred out of the Westport facility in less than 33 hours. One day after his release, on August 27th, Mallow tracked Ashworth with his GPS that he installed in her truck to an apartment in Wethersfield. He murdered her there, shooting her 3 times and then killing himself. The red flag law, is designed to get guns out of the hands of people who pose a risk. And here, clearly, it did not work. The Connecticut Mirror did a great job. Who is that? Dave Altamari. Finally did a decent job. Dave Altamari does not normally report anything that is accurate, really. He totally mishandled the Bridgeport ballot stuffing incident. Here we go. Use of red flag warrants since 2022. Look. This is by troop. So Troop G, Bridgeport, used it 12 times in the most dangerous city, the largest city in Connecticut. Troop G is failing, as usual. Troop L used it 64 times. The Yukon Police Department used it 58 times. Where's Troop H? Troop H, Hartford, used it 15 times. Hartford Troop H is a total failure, They have a bunch of knuckleheads there. Thank God they gave us this data. The Yukon Police issued 58 risk protection orders. Now here we go. The Stamford Superior Court has a gunman who's threatening 3 different people to change their testimony. Did you hear what I said? In a federal trial. The Troop G, right here, refused to take a report of bribery and extortion by a U.S. senator last week. Okay? H, Hartford. Hartford refused the election fraud complaint of 2022. We're still waiting for a response. Okay? We filed a complaint that Connecticut hacked 22 other states, and we gave them evidence of it. So what's happening here? The Superior Court judges, 9 in the Stamford Superior Court, refused protection orders, okay, by a criminal involved in the Oxy production, purchasing judges, DAs, prosecutors, elected officials, and Stamford has been well aware of it for years, folks, for 17 years, okay? It wasn't until 2011 that risk protection orders issued by police departments surpassed 100 in 1 year. Well, Stamford has 9, denied by Judge Gennario, denied by, Kavanewski denied Chris Kelly's protection order, which is insane, okay? Since he was raped by a doctor, and the same doctor raped Heather Lindsay. The same doctor has a brother who was caught with $30 million in the trunk of his car, and he bribed cops from Stamford to Texas. Here we go. The number slowly increased until changes were made to the law in 2021. Since then, the numbers have increased from 222 to 830 to over 2,200 last year. More red flag warrants have been issued due to, look at the graph, 1999, okay, number of risk protection orders issued in 2021 is 222. Now they're 830. So the current year is not on here, but the current year data is. What I'm saying is that risk protection orders went from 100 to 830, clearly in this article. However, 9 this year were denied by the Stamford Police Department. There is a prosecutor named Tomaccio, and there is a prosecutor, another one who I'm not going to name, who quashed them. Now, the Stamford police, in one of the protection orders, wanted and issued a warrant for the arrest of the gunman who I am talking about. But unfortunately, Judge Gennario is being accused of being bought, along with Judge White and others. And here we go. Read the article. The week before Easter in 2023, when Meriden police sought 14 risk protection orders, what happened? There were cases such as a 19-year-old man who threatened to kill his mother because he didn't like the sneakers she bought him for his birthday. And there was a 59-year-old man who had been drinking with a friend and fired a loaded gun with blanks out the window of his second-floor apartment on Broad Street. So Meriden's busy, folks. But what do you need to know? Of the 14 RPO's cases that week, only one case where a person actually had a gun. With the orders related to a domestic abuse case were a 39-year-old man assaulted his mother and aunt, then tried to kill himself in a jail cell, and an 11-year-old 6th grader who had a meltdown at school, attacking a school psychologist, screaming at a police officer, threatening to... Okay. Records show. Meriden had 270 cases. Meriden police had the largest increase in red flag warrants issued in 2023. Newington, Walcott, Watertown. Here we go. 50 to 71 each. New Haven, Bridgeport, Stamford, Hartford, and Waterbury, the riskiest places in town, combined, had only 97. That's not true, and Dave Altamari knows it. Okay? Deputy Chief James Baraja said his department recently sent a couple of officers to a seminar to deal with it. Well, hold on. If I'm involved in 9 in the city of Stamford right here, they're not counted. So in other words, the count is wrong. And by the way, I did file a human trafficking report in Meriden and in Waterbury, and in Shelton, which we've gotten no answers, and they are not reported. There's no generation of a report. There's no investigation outcome. Here we go. Avon, president of the Connecticut Police Association. 0. Because your point that Bridgeport has 0. 0. Look at the Doulos case, folks. They did not protect the mother. Bristol. Here we go. Read these different towns. You got to read the article. I'll share the article. Connecticut became the first state in the nation to pass a red flag law in 1999 when there were 100 reported cases. Here we go. In 1999, the year after, a disgruntled employee named Matthew Beck, 35, stabbed and gunned down 4 of his bosses at the Connecticut Lottery headquarters before returning the gun on himself. Someone should call Chris Murphy. From 96 RPOs in the first 5 months of the year, the cases soared to 734 in the last 7 months of 2022, obtained by the Connecticut Mirror. Well, the Connecticut Mirror doesn't respond to a single email we have ever sent them. Cheshire. Here we go. Here we go. One police issued a risk protection order following Ashworth's murder. Brantford Police Chief John Mulhern ordered an internal affairs investigation that partly looked at why none of the officers involved in the case sought a protection order for this girl. Mallow voluntarily violently committed himself to Midstate Medical, and he had homicidal thoughts, which were reported. So what my conclusion is that, let's go back up to the top, Connecticut red flag law being applied unevenly. That's what the Connecticut Mirror says, which is a totally, pretty much communist paper. What do I say? I say that the court is enforcing these protection orders on innocent people, using it as a tool to commit people who are sane, who are so-called conspiracy theorists. So this week we learned that the GOP does not want to debate me because they consider 5G to be safe. They don't think the elections were hacked, or actually they were bribed by Mark Zuckerberg not to say that. And all the towns here that are reporting zero protection orders are the same towns that have the real threats. So here's one case which came, and it had a very unfortunate consequence. I understand. We're trying to wrap our arms and legs around these issues where they're taking the guns away from the 140 Republican towns that are conservative, and they're not doing a single thing in the major cities where the gun violence is prevalent. So here we go. 12 shootings just yesterday in New York. 12 in New York just yesterday. And Twitter won't let you share the articles about the Syracuse, New York event. You should watch it. 3 cops were killed. You should try to understand what's happening here in the major cities and how the judges, Judge Truglia, Judge White, Judge Reed, they're using these red flag laws to mask the problems in their cities. Then they just catch and release. Catch and release. They released 9,000 convicts of the 18,000 in the past 3 years. They've closed 3 major prisons, and they are incarcerating conservatives and limiting free speech. There you go. So read this article. It's vitally important. It's an absolute reveal. And thanks for listening.